sport has the power to change the world.
As this latest episode of The Power of Sport's reaching you, a group of young South African lives are being changed, but not for this week anyway, in Johannesburg, Cape Town, Durban or Port Elizabeth, but in Rio de Janeiro of all places. Yes, that's right. And not just any group, looking perhaps for a typical experience normally associated with one of the world's great city playgrounds, Rio, but rather drawing on their own tough backgrounds, brought together by their love of boxing and inclusion into the Fight with Insight program that brings hope, light. We found out more of that from the inspirational Luke Lamprecht. And then he's a household name, not just for his previous work in radio, a hit TV show bearing his name on SuperSport, and the man whose tombstone one day will surely be adorned with a golden microphone, the one and only Laureus Ambassador Dan Nicholl took to celebrating his birthday in the most unique of ways.
Plenty of highlights at the eight-a-side cricket tournament. Pierce Beast bursting out of his shirt as he clobbered cricket balls into nearby buildings. LB Morkel breaking a window on the second floor with one particularly large hit. The occasional one-day captain of South Africa, Aiden Markram, seeing an over go for 32. Not his best spell of bowling ever. Jason Goliath, the rotund comedian, being used by Maps Mapanyane as a roller to flatten out the pitch ahead of play starting, and some terrific fielding, running between wickets, and general entertainment from Butch James, the former Springbok fly half, who turns out to be a more than decent cricketer. Some wonderful catches out taken in the deep, some superb fielding, and all in all a terrific day for a wonderful cause.
Stay tuned for a Dan Nicholl masterpiece. I'm John Smythe, your host. Thank you for downloading and sharing this episode. You can find us on iTunes, Omni Radio, and we're also on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Welcome to the show. Well, more from Dan Nicholl a bit later, but there's a strong connection between both Dan and the Fight with Insight program, who we hear from first. He was among a number of ambassadors who spent time with a group of special youngsters who departed on a trip of a lifetime to Rio de Janeiro on a special exchange program in mid-June. It was an opportunity not just to share boxing knowledge, but to grow as young people who are looking at making meaningful change to their own circumstances. Luke Lamprecht tells us all we need to know about the exchange.
Fight with Insight is incredibly excited about being over in Brazil. It's an incredible place. I've been before. And to be there during the World Cup on a day when Brazil is playing a World Cup game is just going to be out of this world. A once-in-a-lifetime experience that Laureus has facilitated for us and the children, and we cannot wait. The South African delegation to Rio is made up of Laureus staff, and 3 coaches from Fight with Insight are going, as well as 10 of our boxers. And what we will be doing is linking up with Fight for Peace International, of which we are an alumni, and together we'll be exchanging sport for development ideas, youth development, and just really sharing the love of boxing and enjoying one another's company within the city. The itinerary that has been put together for us looks absolutely amazing. It's very hard to say what the highlights are going to be. I mean, being in the favelas is a highlight. Boxing in the favelas is a highlight. It's a highlight to be able to go to Christ the Redeemer on a Sunday with the children. It's a highlight just to see a new city and the beautiful beaches of Rio. But one of the highlights that has to be top of mind has to be being in such a soccer-mad nation during the World Cup, and we cannot wait to be shouting with the Brazilians for Brazil. Brazil has always been my favourite soccer side, and this is just a dream come true. There was much planning with our partners from Fight for Peace International, who've got an office in Rio, and we decided that it would be really good for the sport for development programs, particularly the ones involving boxing and martial arts, to get together to share ideas, to share youth experiences, to share cultural experiences, and just really to share the love of the sport of boxing, and to get young people to just be together in positive ways in some very, very difficult circumstances. The Fight with Insight Hillbrow team is incredibly proud of what we have achieved over the year. From very humble beginnings with a small V-shaped rig and a couple of bags to running this big gym in the city has just been incredible. We have just grown from strength to strength, and I think the most amazing achievement for me is just the fact that the gym is buzzing and lively with the voices of children and teenagers every day of the week, and we're just really proud to be part of young people's lives and to be able to allow them to make a difference in their own. So the core message I'd like to send to the listeners on a very simple level is that it is not something you do with children that makes a difference, it is everything. It is really important in a country where we have young people with endless potential, that we as adults are excited that the children have turned up, that we're crazy about being around them, and that we really see the potential in them and allow it to be fostered through us creating safe developmental places for them to be. And Fight with Insight, we believe, is leading that in the boxing and martial arts sport for development arena in South Africa.
I feel like I say this every episode, but wow, what an opportunity for these youngsters, and what admiration we at the Power of Sport have for the fantastic work done in all the programs, not just here in South Africa, but across the globe. But just as importantly, the programs, so too the input from our ambassadors. And in this episode, we highlight a unique way to give back from Dan Nicholl. He's easily become one of South Africa's most recognizable faces and voices. And we're not behind a microphone, on a TV screen, playing golf or being taken for a walk by his dog. He's living sport for good. Dan tells us more.
Hi, Dan Nicholl here, Laureus Ambassador, and for my birthday this year, as I'm turning 40, unbelievably, I decided to get some friends together to raise a little money and have a little fun with a celebratory 8-a-side cricket tournament. The guys at Dimension Data very kindly offered their oval in Johannesburg, and I roped in 4 cricketers, Aidan Markram, Jacques Rudolph, Chris Morris, along with Albie Morkel, to come and join us. Some partners for the day in the form of Nande Sun International, Supersport and Levergy all came on board as well. And then some celebrity friends, Butch James, Pierce Spies, the comedians Jason Goliath, Chris Forrest and Simi Aref all came to join us for the day. And it was a celebration of cricket and of sport. Some wonderful, wonderful cricket. Chris Morris and Aidan Markram depositing cricket balls all over Bryanston. Some of it not quite so good. Maps Mapanyani's fielding came in for plenty of mirth from the comedians in the commentary box, and plenty of enjoyment, not just from the players there, but also from the kids from the Joburg Cubs, the Laureus Project, that was supported on the day. The kids watched, they got some autographs and photos with the cricketers and the celebrities there. The players all involved had plenty of fun. Some of us still feeling it a little while afterwards, but maybe not quite as young as we thought we were. But we had the opportunity to raise some money and to raise some awareness. Very terrific, terrific project that in the end saw the team from Levergy, led by Big Jason Goliath, Chris Morris, Maps Mapanyane and Clint Patterson from Levergy, clinched the title. Terrific effort from Supersport, led by Soldier Boy, the EFC fighter, along with Pierce Spies, who's certainly not looking any smaller, and all round the team's having a really good day. Fantastic opportunity to support Laureus, to support some great work, and to introduce the Joburg Cubs to some cricket fans around Johannesburg. First of many, and we look forward to being back with another event at Didata again next year.
What a magnificent day out that sounds. Thank you to Dan and your guests. It certainly looked highly entertaining for those of us following on social media. That's it from this episode of The Power of Sport. Thank you for listening to it. Please do share it and subscribe to the series. We have some very exciting episodes to come. From me and the team, cheers.